No underwear.
Oh.
We can work on that.
Ooh.
Hey, welcome back to the Outright Garage. In today's episode, we are going to tackle some of the inconsistencies in reproduction inner fenders. Yep, we bought these brand new fenders for Brandon's truck and nothing's right on them. So we're going to fix them. Yeah, gaps are wrong and it's just ridiculous. Good thing we spent all that money. Anyway, we're going to get that taken care of. We're going to get a little more stuff taken care of as far as fuel lines are concerned and brackets and all the stuff that takes forever and you don't ever get any credit for. And we want to remind you guys, we have a brand new merchandise store, www.theoddrodgarage.com. Hopefully you'll see it here in the bottom of the frame. Anyway, you can check out this nice hats, these shirts. These hats and shirts look so awesome. If you guys buy them, the women won't be able to resist you. And for some of you guys out there, trust me, you need 3. Anyway, we appreciate you guys coming by and checking out some of the stuff we're doing. We're going to get some stuff done on Brandon's truck for you today. So hang on for the ride.
Morning guys, Odd Rod Garage here, and today we've already been messing with some stuff, but I want to show you what we've gotten done on Brandon's truck. In the last episode you saw, the bracketry. I mean, we had to rework the dipstick, the kickdown bracket. We made that. We made the throttle spring bracket. We made throttle linkage. So now this guy right here, we have to get new hardware for this. This is just for mock-up stuff here. But this hole right here, there's a clamp that goes on here, and it's for the fuel line. Right? That's for the fuel line, and it mounts it there nice and solid. And this little latch, this little hook here, this is where the wiring runs, right in here. And then obviously it runs underneath here. And the reason again why we did that was because of the it was kind of vague as to where the headers were going to end up at. And remember, the headers are really super tight. There's absolutely no room under there, and we didn't want to melt a bunch of wiring. That's where that tracks. Then there's a fuel line, but I wanted to make this bracket too to where it encompassed everything else, including the transmission lines. So this bracket, it bolts right here, bracket comes down, and well, it's like a clamp. Anyway, that's where the lines go, and I staggered them that way. When the lines go on, when they come out, they'll be nice and flush against each other. It'll look nice and clean. Yeah, anyway, bubble flares on both ends, and they're already attached at the transmission, and they look pretty good. So anyway, there's that. So I have one more component I need to make. I'm gonna make the clamp for the fuel line here, and yeah, it'll be awesome. So I need to swing the alternator out of the way and go ahead and make my clamp, and then that part will be done there. And as you can tell, there's just enough room for the fuel line to come here, and I'm anticipating a fuel filter ending up right in here. And again, it should be fine for the if Brandon ever had to change the fuel pump to a more factory style. Usually the outlet is like right in here, and there should be enough room to facilitate that. But that way he's got a fuel filter between the pump and the carburetor, and then we'll put another one in line between the tank and the pump, and that way everything will be nice and protected. And theoretically, when you're actually looking at it, you won't really see a lot of that. We try to keep it as clean as possible up here. Unfortunately, this is where we're going to have to tap in for a temperature gauge. But if you start sending it on there, what you're going to do with the wire, and it'll look kind of poo-poo caca if you're draping it over the valve cover or something like that. And if you don't, then you have to make little clamps, to where it'll lace next to the valve cover. That way it doesn't get on the headers or anything like that. So anyway, that's about it on that. And then we'll go ahead and I had footage of this here. This is the driver inner wheelhouse, and it's pretty bad. And this stuff is all brand new, but again, very rarely does that stuff actually fit like it should. The other one, when I had it mocked up last time, the other one fits pretty good, but that one's off by like 3/8 of an inch, so we're gonna have to drill out the spot welds and move it forward and then re-weld it. no biggie. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our alternator with the belt that we had, or that he had for it. It sits about there. Let's go ahead and snug this guy up here. And let's see. Here. It wants to be up like that. Yeah, that could work. Makes the line nice and level. It's up off the intake. So I'm going to go ahead and scribe right here and scribe right there. Now, knowing full well that I want it to come out just a little bit, so make sure if we do that, that'll be pretty good. Let's make sure I have that in the right spot. Again, this is a factory belt, so let's go right into. This should be the factory belt. Oh, no worries. I'm pretty sure that's the belt, but let's go ahead and loosen this up. Yeah, it's not the red belt. Okay guys, this is the alternator, water pump, crank pulley combo belt that the truck originally came with. So we're going to cinch it out. And tighten it up right there. I just want to kind of get an idea. Maybe something like that. Okay. I'm going to make sure that where I put that fuel line is more than fine. Yeah. Pretty good. Okay. Looks like you could probably unroll this a little bit. Something like that. Yeah. We'll unroll that a little bit and it'll be great. So now, it up again, and let's put that guy right for now. Well, there's no need to take that alternator off. That's just more work. Leave it right there. So now, take that off. I'm going to go ahead and unroll this. Actually, I'm going to unroll it just a little bit, and I'll be right back. Kicks. This up, out C's, up C's, in Z's. There we go. Let's throw that on the ground. Like this. Okay, there it is. Okay, I'm going to scribe one more mark. So now, take this back off. Okay, this can come up. Yeah, we'll just leave that. So I want to make a clamp. It's in there like that. Nice and tight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a strip of steel. Obviously I'm going to curve it to where it's nice and tight, and then I'll drill a hole in it, and then we'll see what it looks like after that. Alright guys, there's our hole. I'm going to whittle it down. And it's going to be super cool. Alright guys, let's just start. I'm going to go ahead and file the inside of that a little bit. And then we'll dry fit it and see what we got.
Alrighty. No, I just thought I would call and ask. Yep. Alright, thanks, Ryan.
Again, you won't see any of that, but now we have the brackets done, the bracket for the...
You really can't see anything, right?
Alright guys, so now we have our clamp here. It's all just finger tight right now. This is the bracket here that I've already showed you guys earlier today. The clamp, a bracket, the fuel line's got a clamp and a bracket. The wiring actually has a clamp and a bracket. We're going for an aesthetic and safety. So I'm sure there's some of you guys who are home like, well, if you run an inline fuel filter between the pump or between the tank and the pump, why would you put another fuel filter in there? I'm sure you guys have seen a fuel pump die and you get shrapnel in there and then all of a sudden you have stuck floats. So it's just kind of a commonality thing that we do. But we didn't want a big can up here. We're looking for a nice low profile, kind of a girthy, really super clean look. But now our fuel line's in there, it's level, it's nice. Well, once I tighten it down, it's down there. It comes out here, canister here, fuel line here. So all of it's encompassed right there, and you'll never really even notice it. And we made provisions for if you ever went with a factory style fuel pump, it'll facilitate that too. If you're building it, why not go ahead and try to make it to where it'll fit everything. Next is the oil line, and we have to take some of this apart to shoot it. Brandon wants certain specific things painted black, so we'll do that for him at some point soon. But with the loop train lines and an oil line, we could fix that. We could hang the core support on there, put a radiator in it, and fire this girl, shoot some flame.
All right, so in the C10 world, they pretty much reproduce every single part of the truck. I think you can start with nothing and get reproduction parts and build an entire truck. The only problem is it's not quite going to be right. And every reproduction part has its idiosyncrasies. It's a little bit wrong somewhere. And Brandon didn't like the inner fenders that we had for him. They were used and they had a few dents and dings, and we could have fixed that, or his body man could have. But Mr. Brando, he wanted new ones, and we got new ones. And guess what? They don't fit. Check it out. The fender well has a bracket that bolts to the core support, and it is at least a ½ inch off. Let me show you what we're talking about. It is black, so I'm not sure. You can see where Tommy is holding that tape measure, and right there is where the end of this bracket comes to, and it's supposed to go all the way to there. It's at least a ½ inch off, and we are not willing to put a great big shim in between there. That would look horrible. So we're going to have to cut off this bracket, put our pieces back up, bolt that in, and re-weld that so that it fits like it's supposed to. So that being said, sometimes it's a lot easier just to repair the old stuff that you know fits than to try and make new stuff fit like it's supposed to. So 6 on one hand, ½ dozen on the other. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. It's making me hungry.
We've gotten brand new repop doors that didn't have the right curve. I believe we ended up scrapping 2 brand new doors because they were just way wrong.
That was on a '59 Chevy, and they were so wrong, we literally put them in the scrap metal. That was a lot of money there too. So anyway, we're going to get ready to pull this girl apart to fix the problems of the wonderful aftermarket. All right, so this is the bracket we're talking about that's in the wrong location. It's a ½ inch too far back. So we are going to, very first thing we do, we need to know where we sit as far as this is concerned. So we're going to take a scribe and we're going to scribe our marks so that we know exactly where we need to be. So I'm going to scribe it down along this, that way we can get our ½ inch mark. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a straight line across here where we will be able to line it up properly. Alright, so it appears that there are only 4 spot welds on this. So we're going to drill our 4 spots, we're going to pop it loose, we'll get it lined back up, move it a ½ inch, we'll burn it in, we'll be ready to roll. in true fashion, I forgot to turn on the camera. That's because we're building cars, not filming a movie. Anyway, so what we did, we got it lined back up. We moved it a 1/2 inch. Did the spot welds on here. Filled it in nicely. It will be ready to bolt back on. Alright, you can see our 1/2 inch gap right here. You can see the welds we did to weld that back on and put it where it needs to be. Thank you, China, for the lovely parts you make for us that never fit. I guess we ought to start making things in the United States again. Alright, so one of Tommy's many flaws is that when he gets started on a project, he doesn't want to stop. And so lots of times he'll say, okay, I'm working till 1 o'clock, I get him paid for it. I show up at 3:15 and he's still here messing. So today I'm throwing him out on time because he shouldn't be working for free, and I'm too poor to pay him for all the time he puts in. So that being said, he did a bunch of stuff that we didn't get on camera. Messing with the oil pressure sending unit and the lines. We got fuel lines done. You see that we got the inner fender repaired that we neglected to videotape. That's when I do my best work, by the way, is when the camera's not rolling.
We'll just grind it off and start over.
Grind it, yeah, pretend like we did it. Anyway, we're not doing that. Anyway, hey, remember to subscribe, share the link, hit that bell, that notifications, and send us a comment. Tell us what you think about what we're doing. Remember that we do have a new merchandise store. We got all kinds of hoodies and t-shirts and jackets and no underwear.
Oh.
We can work on that.
Ooh.
Anyway, check out our store. It's www.theoddrodgarage.com. Hopefully you see it right there. And as usual, thanks for watching.